We have been living in our Alliance 32 RLS Avenue for the last 4 months, and over that time we have absolutely loved this RV for full-time living. However, we found 5 things that we hate. Well, hate may be a little strong. 5 things that we just don't really like, and I want to share those with you today in this episode of Travels with Delaney. Welcome back, everyone. My name's Patrick, and if this is your first time here at Travels with Delaney, welcome. Me and my wife recently retired from our teaching jobs, and now I run Happy Acres Campground in Northeast Indiana 7 months out of the year, and this winter we're headed to Texas for the winter season. We ended up selling our home back in February, and now we live full-time in this 2025 Alliance Avenue 32 RLS. And I thought what I'd do is share these 5 things that after 4 months in here full-time, they're just things that we don't care for, and in some cases we're going to try to change out. And I'm going to take you inside right now, and let's go look at the first item. And that item is right up here. Now, it's not that we don't like the Max Air fan that came right here in the kitchen area. The problem is we wanted to put a cover on it. And when we bought the cover and went to install it, we found out that Alliance has actually installed the solar panel right on top of this vent, giving it just enough room to raise and lower, but not enough room to put one of those covers on so that we could keep it open during the rain. So then our second thought was to put in our favorite RV fan of all time, the Max Air Deluxe fan. Even though we didn't really want to spend the money, we said, well, with the Max Air Deluxe fan, you can actually have it open while it's raining out and still have your fan going. Unfortunately, that solar panel is so close, there's not even room to change out this particular fan. So, a little disappointed that we're not able to keep this open when it's raining outside, but we'll end up dealing with it, because what I don't want to do is relocate that solar panel and end up with a bunch of holes in our roof. The next item on my list is behind the TV. Now, in this particular model, they have installed some speakers in the ceiling. In fact, these, I believe, are JBL speakers. But the actual radio unit is located behind the TV, which means anytime you want to operate it, you have to pull your TV out, try to reach back in here and actually see it. It's located way back in here, making it really inconvenient anytime you'd actually want to use the onboard speaker. So we have just decided that we're not going to use it because it's just not a convenient location. I think if Alliance had found some place on the exterior walls, possibly even right over here on the kitchen, that would have made it a much more usable amenity in the trailer. Just a really odd placement, in my opinion, even though I'm sure they were thinking out of sight, out of mind, but the truth is, out of sight is out of mind because we don't even remember it's in there. Now, my next item, I'm not sure if it was meant to be this way or if it was actually an oversight at the factory when they constructed the RV. And the reason I say that is, here we have this nice cabinet above our microwave, and when I lift up, there's actually a strut to keep that cabinet open, which is great because it's a small cabinet and you can put some things in there, like we're using it for storage containers, and just having that strut makes it easy for access. However, they put that same basic cabinet over here in front of our refrigerator, and when you lift it up, there's no strut. And this is one of it's even a little harder to reach just because you have the refrigerator coming out, and a strut would come in really useful right here. We're obviously going to order a strut. They're not that expensive, but I just find it odd that they didn't add the strut to this one. They did that one, and that's why I'm guessing it's probably an oversight. But if you own the Avenue 32 RLS, let me know in the comments. Did yours come with the strut up here on the 2025 version? The next item is right here in the bedroom, and again, this is another head scratcher. The lights that you see on overhead are actually on a dimmer switch over here on the little dresser as you walk into the bedroom, and that's great. We can dim these down if we want to. But Alliance also installed 2 overhead lights in the bedroom slide out. The switch for that is right behind the bed, or right beside the bed, which makes it very convenient. You can turn them on, turn them off right from the bed. They didn't put a dimmer on, so if you want to lay in bed and maybe read or just relax, these things are full brightness beaming down on you. Probably the extra few bucks to put in a dimmer switch here would have been a really nice feature and made this much more useful. We're going to actually get a dimmer switch and get these wired to dim, and then they'll be much more useful for us. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, Patrick, none of these items are that big of a deal, and I said in the beginning, most of them are an annoyance more than something we truly hate. But there is one that on an occasion I have said, I hate this. And I'm going to show you that just in a minute, but I want to give you a bonus item that, again, is just a minor thing, but I really believe it could have been avoided if they just went a different route. Let me show you. The problem is right here, and here, and here, and here. Now, if you can't tell what I'm pointing at, I'm pointing at these seams on all the trim around our two big slide outs in the living room. Now, the woodwork itself is absolutely gorgeous. We really love the color, the way it looks. The problem is, I think they tried to get a little too fancy and do these corner cuts right there, and unfortunately they're gapping, and they were gapping at the factory. And the reason I know that is they have put clear sealant in all 4 of those corners, and they've gotten worse since we brought the trailer home, and we're not even traveling currently, so I can't imagine what's going to happen once we start bouncing on roads going to Texas this winter. So I think in this case they should have kept it simple, ran that top piece of trim straight across. They would have been able to get a much tighter fit going straight across, and I don't think you would have seen it. Now, is it functionally a problem? No, it's just aesthetically a problem when you're sitting in your theater seats watching TV, and once you've seen these cracks up here, it's like you can't unsee them. So it was a good try on their part, but I think maybe next time they should just keep it simpler and it'll give it a better, clean look. And that brings us to our final annoyance, or in this case, something I truly have said on multiple occasions, I hate. And I hate it. Now, actually, I don't hate it, the thermostat. I hate the location of the thermostat. So it is installed right here as you walk into our bedroom on this little credenza or dresser or whatever unit that's built into the wall. The problem is this little thermostat is so small, it's almost impossible to read, at least for Patty and I, unless we get down and look at it. And in the middle of the night when you get up and maybe it's a little warm in the bedroom and you want to adjust the thermostat, you're groggy, you're tired, you have to come over here, and there's no easy way to turn the backlight on. You have to touch a button. Any button will do it. The problem is sometimes if you touch, like, let's say the temperature button, it's going to change the temperature, and all you're trying to do is get that backlight button to come on. Now, if you touch this power button just briefly, that will turn the backlighting on. But again, middle of the night, you're groggy, you can't see, and next thing you know, I'm changing the mode when all I wanted to do was try to make it quieter here in the RV. Or in this case, you touch too hard, you could change something else, like shut it off. So I think there's probably a reason they located it here, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. I would have much rather had it somewhere else where it's up higher and you could see it at eye level. Now, we are going to be switching out this thermostat because the location, in essence, is fixed for us. So I have ordered a thermostat that's going to have a much larger display, and it is also Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which means I won't even have to get out of bed. I can just grab my smartphone, they're telling me, and change the AC settings from the bed using my smartphone. But that'll be a whole separate video coming up after we get the product and get it installed and try it out. And there you have it, the 5 things, well, really 6 things that have kind of annoyed us with this trailer. But as I said at the start of the video, overall, we are loving our brand new 2025 Alliance Avenue 32 RLS. In fact, I'm going to come out with a video in a few weeks where I share with you 5 things that we actually love about this that make it the perfect home for us now that we're full-time in an RV. If you have any questions or you have one of the Alliances and there's some things that annoy you, drop those down below in the comments. I'd love to read about them, or if I'm missing something, let me know. Till next time, everybody, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on down the road. Bye.
Travels with Delaney. We'll see you on down the road.